right, let's get this party started. Welcome. It's Sunday morning. Welcome to the SnobNation Sunday morning live show. And that is where we just come on and we just talk some fun stuff. Maybe some dumb stuff. We never know. But they're both going to be fun and they're both going to be dumb. When I don't click myself out. All right. Actually, I'm glad the man's here. Part titanium, part man, all radar. Radar, I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better. I hope you're resting. I hope you're taking care of yourself. We love you, buddy. That is part of Snob Nation. Radar, it's time, my friend. We can get you straight. We can get you feeling good. I love you, buddy. Get well soon. Rest. Nobody likes to hear that word, but rest. You need it. So, guys, there's a few things I thought we would talk about today. I thought might be interesting. Some movie news I'm going to share. Now, if you guys don't know, I share movie news over on our Patreon for our paid tiers. So you can go check that out. It's just, stuff I pick up along the way from different areas. Some might be rumors, some might be spoilers. So just be aware, of what those are. But pick them up, put them on there. It's just some movie news, but it's like more outside of what's being reported. So you guys go check that out. But I'm going to talk about some of those things here today. We're going to have a fun time with it. And you guys feel free to join in the comments below and hang out with us and let's talk about it. So that's what it's all about. So, all right. First things first, I pulled up some information here, trying to be a little more well put together, not well received, well put together. So I started looking into, I kind of fell down a TikTok rabbit hole of the Blake Lively controversy. And the reason I did is because I watched the movie and I watched this movie called It Ends With Us. I didn't know anything about it going in. I had heard it was coming out. TikTok was talking about it and I didn't pay attention. So, of course, I watched the movie. I watched pretty much everything coming out so that way I can review it. That's going to be a Letterboxd review. You can check that one out this week. So to give you sort of a backstory, it's based on a book. The book is called It Ends With Us. Now, I'm going to spoil it a bit. So if you don't know it or you want to go see it, I understand. You can go. It's not one of those types of movies where you just need to run out and go and see it, though. Like I said, I'll write a review on it. I don't want to go too hard on it. It seems like everybody else is at the moment, but a lot of this controversy is wild. A lot of this stuff is just insane. So the book is Colleen Hoover wrote the book, and I believe I just want to make sure that I got her name right. So I brought up all the information, so it's got to be right. Yeah, Colleen Hoover's book, It Ends With Us. Okay, so It Ends With Us is the story. She wrote that as sort of like a tribute to her mother, who was in an abusive relationship with her father. So she told this story of a young woman named Lily Bloom, who's I don't mean to laugh at that. She told the story of a young woman named Lily Bloom, who's a florist, I guess. I never read the book. I'm going to tell you right now, I've never read the book. I'm saw the movie. I've been looking up the controversy in the movie. I don't know if the book is written well. There's a lot of people talking about that. Like, I guess people have been flocking to read the book to find out, and they said that it's not as well written or the story is not as good either, comparatively. But there are glaring differences that make, I guess, the story of the book more believable than the way the movie turned out. So it's about a young woman, Lily Bloom, who's a florist, who gets into this relationship with an older man, and he's abusive, and it's about domestic violence and her having to overcome that in her life and how she does that. So the movie essentially follows the same thing. It would, anyway, if it was actually dealing with domestic violence. Really, this movie is I didn't know what, because after I watched it, I was like, why is this like this? Why would they make this type of movie? Especially, I heard that the guy who starred in it, who was actually one of the best parts of the movie, every time he was on, he played an intense role, even when he's playing quieted or he's like very, alluring, like, because he's like he plays a figure that's like you're very drawn to him, very tall, dark, handsome type. So you get why she falls for him, especially because he's older. He's like, he's a doctor. It's all this stuff. So you definitely understand that aspect of why. But then you get into it more and more, and it's like, yeah, he's intense. But the movie shows you, like, it seemed like every time she got hurt or got a black eye, it really was an accident. That's what they're showing you. Like, he goes and grabs something hot and pulls his hand back and hits her by accident because she was jumping in behind him. I'm not saying she was wrong for doing that, but, and I'm not saying like he shouldn't apologize for like reacting, but it was a reaction when they show it to you on screen. And then like she falls down the stairs later, and when they show it to you on screen, it's a reaction. Like, he's like, stay away from me, just stay away. He thinks she's cheating on him. Again, not justifying any of the actions or reactions. I'm just telling you this is how it went in the movie and what they showed you. And that's why when I talk about where it goes, it just missed its mark. That's why I'm like describing so in depth what this is. So like, like she's coming after, she's trying to stop him because she's trying to convince him like she's not cheating, and she wasn't, so like, but she does have feelings for the other guy that like he knows. So they're, she's like running down the stairs behind him, and he's just like, leave me alone, leave me alone. Like, he's not touching her, he's not pushing her away, but he's just like, every time she touches him, he's like pulling away. He goes to turn these stairs, she goes to grab him, and he's just like, leave me alone. And like, she falls down the stairs. That's how he does it in the movie. And she falls down the stairs. Well, they allude to she falls down the stairs. She starts to go, and then they cut. Yeah, and stuff like that. And so like, and he is intense. First time we meet him, he's kicking a chair. So like, he plays it well. I feel like this dude understood the assignment. He was like, oh, I'm supposed to be playing it as dark. Like, I could be dangerous. And that's alluring to her. Like, she's attracted to somebody like her father was. Her father was abusive. So I get that. But then by the time you get to the end, it sort of switches it up. And it's like, okay, we're going to take it much further. And like how she remembers everything happening. But as the audience watching this, we have no idea of that. We are already watching these other scenes where it looks like an accident. And it looks like an accident. And then when you change it and she's starting to remember it differently, it plays out differently. But that doesn't work when it's such a disconnect for the audience. Because now you're asking us to trick our own minds into what we saw. You're essentially gaslighting your audience by doing that. By saying like, oh no, he is a bad guy. I remember now correctly. That I'm not saying that can't happen in life. Of course that can happen in life. That's a central part of life. Like we're not going to remember every minute detail. But in a movie, we are, especially when we saw it like 20 minutes earlier, like we're going to remember that. So you have to give it some more, or like make it a little darker. I don't understand why it was such a twist or a surprise of it. So like this movie, and I want to talk about the movie before I talk about any of the controversy, because this movie is not great. Like, it looks like it was messed with. And I'm not saying it was Blake Lively. I'm not saying it was Justin Maloney. I don't know who it was. I've never even read the book. So the book could be this story. And if it is, that's a bad story. That's a bad story with no real, like, that's why I think, like, when I look at Justin Maloney's character in the movie, I mean, and he directed it as well, the scenes that he's in do have signs that you know about when it comes to DV. So like, there are scenes like he's playing it in a certain way. He's not playing a good character. He's playing a villain that thinks he's good, thinks he's a great guy, and then snaps. Like, and he's doing it well. But it seems like everybody else, and the other guy who plays like the adversary to him, I think I can't remember the actor's name. His name is like Atlas in the movie. It was like her other. It's like a love triangle sort of thing going on, which is also weird to add to a movie about DV, but not the way they added it. Not having sort of romantic, in that instance, or love triangle, but the way they added it is very romantic comedy-esque, but to a drama setting. It was just weird. I didn't like it. So whenever he's on, it seems like he gets it. He knows what he's playing, but they're not showing certain things. And that's why, like, when I see all of this stuff with the controversy and stuff like that, I'm like, it kind of makes sense a little bit, because the scenes that Blake Lively's in, she doesn't feel right for. The young woman who played her counterpart when she's a teenager did a really good job. But then when you get older, it seems mismatched. In just tone and everything else. Also, am I supposed to believe that like the 16-year-old is now what, 20, and Blake Lively, like, she's like closer to 40. So that threw me off too watching this. I'm not trying to age shame or anything, but like, There's a reason. You know, you don't want a 40-year-old to play a 25-year-old because it's all different experience, different look, different how it is. And that's anyone across the board. Could you imagine me playing a 25-year-old in a college movie? No, you wouldn't buy it. It just wouldn't make sense. So, you know, for that, it just didn't fit. And it seemed like everything was just really about the flowers. And I didn't understand that. I don't know if that's a theme in the book, but it was really about the flowers. Oh, excuse me. I'm a little dry mouth tonight. So that I didn't like it. And it ends with us means like she gets pregnant by the guy she was married to who's abusive. And then when she has the baby, she calls the baby, it's a baby girl, and she says it ends with us, the cycle of violence, which great message. Fantastic message. I like that. Actually, it drew me to want to see the movie because I had heard about the ending. I was like, oh, I like that. I like how it's taking this approach of like ending that cycle and showing that. And it dropped the ball big time by the time you get to that line being delivered, which is the last line in the film. Excuse me. It's the last line in the film. That should drive everything home. We are ending the cycle of violence our family has known. This is it. We are done. It ends with you. Ends with us together. That's how it's going. First off, there's a whole other slew of issues. This dude may be an abusive dad. We don't know. He pops off. It's ridiculous. We don't know. But it just didn't fix anything. The guy didn't get help. There's nothing going on. It's just, it ends. Like, there's nothing. Like, they barely graze upon. They use DV as sort of a, I think this is where I get pissed. It's sort of the taboo topic to sell the darker part of this movie, the adversarial part of this movie. And it's disgusting because you could have told a movie that really helps a lot of people. And I am not just talking about, and you hear the director and one of the Justin Baldoni going out talking about this too. So like he puts out resources all the time and stuff. He's really trying to push this message. That's why with this controversy, it gets crazy. But you know, as somebody who is a victim of that, like it pisses me off, especially when it comes to alcohol. And I'll get to that point in a second. Alcoholism playing a part into that and how alcohol plays into that. But I'll get to that part and why this pissed me off also. But that's towards the marketing of it. It pisses me off that they had a chance to really tell a story that doesn't get told a lot. And right now, with the way women are being talked about, treated in this world, and have always been, but like it's right now seems very targeted. You had a real chance, and with such amazing star power, and like you could have still told a beautiful story, and you could have looked beautiful in it, and you could have had your styles or whatever you had in this movie, which was weird, but like the style of the movie is just it's odd. It's so off. It's like you're in one zone, and it's like the style they should be different people, but then whenever she's in her like floral like everybody's just a different, like it just feels like two different styles. So like when you get to that, you're just like pissed off because it's like you've changed this. You haven't even made the focus what this is supposed to be about. And I don't know, but I guess the writer is with, I don't know who's with who. I don't know what this is trying to do. I hate when these controversies, they did that with the Olivia Wilde and her movie and stuff like that, which was just, tell your freaking movie. Tell your movie. Stop fucking around on set. Stop messing with me. Listen to your directors. Listen to your actors. Both of you come together and make a tale. And like figure out before you sign on for a movie, what's this? What are we trying to do with this movie? What exactly? Because the same with Joaquin Phoenix, who just left the movie because there's it's a very homosexual grounded movie. So like it's there's going to be a lot of homosexual themes going on throughout. And I guess Joaquin Phoenix, now I don't know why he left. I don't know if that's why, but there's a lot of heavy speculation that like he left because he was uncomfortable about what, you know, some of the themes that were going to be playing out. No, yeah, you can leave. I'm not faulting the guy for leaving. 5 days before production, that's shitty. That's a lot of people's jobs on the line. And I do think that if actors leave, they should have in their contracts an obligation to help find another actor that would commit, like especially in these bigger star vehicles, because when you leave 5 days before, that's a lot of jobs. So you should lose any pay that you had on it, because that needs to go towards the crew or finding somebody else. But like, regardless of all of that, I'm going off on a tangent, but it's the fact, like, know your source material, know what's going on, read the book, understand it when you're going in, and stop trying to change it from that, or just do another movie. Just do another movie. I understand, like, there's a long history when it comes to her that I guess she takes projects and fastens them to her and like her personality. Like A Simple Favor is very much that was her personality, who she was. In fact, I honestly thought that my wife was watching that, and I didn't watch Gossip Girls, but I've seen it. I was young enough, like that was my age range when it came out. Uh, I watched Simple Favor, with my wife. She had it on, and I didn't know what was going on. But I saw her pop on, and I was like, so is this like Gossip Girls, like the later years? Like, because she looked just like she did on Gossip Girls. And it seems to be a theme, like in all of her movies. So now to get to like what happened with the marketing, is what pissed me off about it was, so this is a movie that's supposed to be out TV that you've already railroaded, and it's not. It barely touches down on it. You're kind of gaslighting us into believing that that's what it's about, but it's not. And it pisses me off, just as somebody who's been through it, and because there's so many children affected as well. It's not just women, and there's so many children that are affected, and like you even touch on that in the movie to say it ends with us with the child. Like, I'm not going to allow this to go on to a child, and but you completely sank the whole vibe of it. What the whole point of it was, and that pisses me off. But like, understanding DV from a point of alcoholism, and to know that you took the marketing of this, and this was Blake Lively, because it's her company, which Betty Buzz or whatever is her alcohol company. I got no problem with alcohol in your movies. I got no problem with, putting alcohol to it, but like, think a little bit about your themes. Think a little bit about the people you are talking to, because the audience you're going for in this, even the audience you're going for your own sake, if it is you who changed from the focus of the actual themes in the movie, those women, I don't think want to, or may not be going to see Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't want to say don't want to, but may not be going to see Deadpool and Wolverine. They're two very different movies, especially considering one is one of the most violent movies ever made. On top of that, it's the most violent movie Disney has ever made. I believe. Actually, I should double check that. I should make sure they don't have any hiders up there. But like, outright, you can definitely say it's the most violent Marvel's ever made. So, and that's a big deal, because we're talking about a movie that takes place, it's domestic violence, that is heavily being marketed with an alcohol campaign. And then you add in, all right, we're going to cross promotion this with Deadpool and Wolverine, which came out the week before, and then it'll be great. And it's like, what are you talking about? Hugh Jackman there, Ryan Reynolds there, even Ryan Reynolds coming out, or she came out and said that Ryan Reynolds rewrote a scene, which that's pretty messed up. That's pretty messed up. Just an etiquette point. That's pretty messed up if he did. But she came on as a producer, and she can do that, and that's how that works. Like, it's not wrong and it's not illegal or anything, but from an etiquette point of view, like, it's kind of fucked up. You say whatever you will, but it is. And so you do that, and like, you get to, so like, now I'm watching this movie, then I go and I look at the marketing for it. Of course people are pissed off. And that's not even on top of the fact that, like, she wasn't talking about domestic violence. Like, people were actually talking about this with this movie because people read this book and they care. This spoke to women. Clearly, it was a bestseller, and I'm sure it spoke to more than just women, but it spoke to women who go through this, which is the character and the gender of the character in the book. So for you to turn around, and now this movie becomes like, she's got this best friend, it's bubbly, oh, meet my brother, and then all this stuff comes out, and then you have the director playing it right, and he's going out and talking about DV, and you're not talking about anything. Dude, in some of these interviews, she's pretty vicious. She's pretty shitty to her fans. I gotta tell you, I don't know. I was never a huge fan of her anyway. I don't know why everybody was so blown away. And Ryan Reynolds, I guess, is the reason why. But and it's great. They're a great team. They seem to love each other. But god damn, man, like it really pisses me off that like movies have a power. Movies have a real power. And now this goes for all media. Media has real power, but I'm not talking about all media right now. I'm talking about movies. Movies have a way of almost directing our thoughts as a whole. You know, movies are such a powerful force for just over 100 years. You know, maybe 130 years at most. Could be a little bit because I'm thinking 1896, so 14 plus 24. Yeah, so just a little bit more. So no, but movies do have a real power. You see how they've shaped so much in our lives, inspired so much of us, is inspired so many people. We had a television star who was a president. You know, you can't, and it starts and like he was in movies before. Like it wasn't we had a president who was a true movie actor and head of SAG. You cannot tell me that movies do not direct you. Now, from a point of view where power, you know, money brought into it, and also from a point of view of the stories being told. How many moving stories have we heard that have inspired so many of us and brought us to great places? Now, I'm going to take one Blake Lively movie from 2024 and say, you could have inspired the world. No, it probably wasn't going to, but it at least would have inspired some, because this controversy is inspiring a lot to be upset. So again, power of movies. You know, we're talking about the actors behind the scene, but it's still the power of movies. It's a movie coming out that's causing this. And it just goes to show you that even something so small, even something as insignificant, you know, as something like this, like Blake Lively is a star, not because she's an actor, not because she's a philanthropist, not because she's this, that, and the other thing. Honestly, because she was on Gossip Girl, she has a following, and she's built that following, and that's great. But primarily because she married Ryan Reynolds, and I'm not saying that to be in a way where it's picking on her. I'm not saying she hasn't brought things to it, but you still have, like, you come into this movie, it has to be money then that forces things around, not creative control. That's why I'm saying, like, it's not like this powerhouse that comes back. Hey, Jason, thanks for joining in, man. I'm blabbering on. I want to move on from this anyway. I'm so tired of talking about Blake Lively, but movies have a real power, and I mean that. And I am super freaking tired of listening to these people come out and, you know, celebrities, and I'm loving the celebrity takedown of people who are really out of touch with what's going on in the world. That's why I say, like, you know, I love movies, I love characters, I love stories, I love those things. I don't care about actors, so I don't do many interviews. And even when interviews do come around, like, it's great and I love it, but if I'm have to sit there and talk to you about bullshit, I don't care. You want to have a real conversation, let's do it. Otherwise, give me anybody else. I'd rather have a conversation about shit than have to put up with listening to just the same jargon over and over again. So let's see, where's Paulie at? Paulie messaged me, so you guys know we have a new episode coming out Tuesday. I will not be here. I'm going to be out of town. You are not going to see my face live after this until the next episode of the podcast, which will be on the, I think it's the 27th. Yeah, because it's 27th will be the next time I'm live. It should be. Never know. I may pop on Sturdies, or I may pop up on a podcast this week. I'm going to Podcast Movement 2024. It's a big podcast conference out in National Harbor in DC. I'm very excited to check it out, see what's going on out there, learn a lot, meet a lot of people, network quite a bit, and just see where I could take the Scene Snobs, building it up, right? So just kind of getting ready for that, and I'm excited, man. There's so much going on, like, and I just can't wait to like see what other people are going to be there, what other podcasts and stuff like that. So like, I'm really super excited for it. I want to pull up the things so that way, kind of give you guys an idea of like what this is. So like, we have there's a lot of things going up, and you know, like for the schedule. So I'm not gonna give you my full schedule. No, but there's a lot of great people to come and talk to. So I'm just looking forward to meeting so many people while I'm there and learning from them. So like, they have morning yoga. I guess it's presented by CNN. That's pretty rad. I'm not doing that. That's too early for me in the morning. Keynote speaker. Ooh, I don't know who the keynote speakers are going to be. I can't wait to meet them. Or listen to them, I should say, not meet them. So yeah, I'm super stoked. Yeah, so Spotify, one of the heads of Spotify is going to be there. Dude, I'm excited, man. I want to see what happens. It's something new, something different, something exciting. Podcast Movement 2024. Scene Snobs stepping up, going in. Professionals now. No, but yeah, no, I'm having a good time with it. Oh, let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine though, because where one is failing, the other one is most certainly not. That movie just pulled in $1.094 billion, and that is a hell of a feat. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, you go check out our full review. I also wrote a review for it, but it's a great movie. And another one that I understood the assignment. I still don't get how some PR person was like, you know, it'd be great. Your domestic violence movie and the most violent movie of the year. Let's make them market together. Cross marketing, baby. Nothing better than that. Jesus Christ. Yeah, dude, this movie is killing it. I like, if you had told me 5 years ago that Sean Levy would be $1 billion director. Nothing against Sean Levy. I like Sean Levy. He makes some fun, exciting movies. I liked Adam Project. Thought that was really good. But if you told me he was going to be $1 billion director, that he can thank Ryan Reynolds for. Ryan Reynolds does have a way of making money. He's very good at it. And that's the reason I don't understand. Like, I would guess his PR firm, his marketing firm would be the one that does her movie, right? And if it was, then his movie. And if they are, what the hell? How did that work? How did he not see that one coming? He's so smart about it. So keep dwindling back, but I am excited for it. I'm really. Do you guys? So they are making another one that is verified. They're going to do another one. They put up hints that it's called A New Home, but of course that just means Marvel. So it's going to be called something different once they write it. But looks like we're going to get Wolverine back. Daphne Keane will probably be back. Who else would you like to see come back? And that's sort of what I want to get into when I'm talking about movie news tonight. Let me pull up the movie news. So I thought it was great. And there's going to be spoilers for Deadpool Wolverine. I'm sorry if you guys don't like it, but the movie's been out for almost a month now, so we can deal. So there's I got serious like Midnight Suns vibes from the Gambit, X-23, Elektra, and Deadpool and Blade being there. And then of course you had Wolverine and Deadpool was there. So that was pretty cool. But I know they're making a Midnight Suns movie. There's talk that Wesley Snipes may get another movie. I do know that Nicolas Cage, Tobey Maguire are all signed on to be back for Secret Wars, probably Doomsday as well. There's some things coming on about that. So we look forward to that. Because the original story, if you guys haven't heard, let me pull it up so that way I can read it off to you so you can hear the whole story from beginning to end. Hold on. No, that's not it. I do have it. Just give me a moment. I have to find the old one. So the original story for what would be The oh, it can be on my Patreon too. I put it up there. Just deal. Should have this part ready. They just announced it. Where is it? So, anybody see the Ironheart trailer, by the way? That looks pretty interesting. Interesting. I don't know if it looks good, but I just want to see it. There's some things I'm looking forward to with it. I do like Anthony Ramos as well. I want to see how he plays as the villain. I know it's going to be a smaller production, so I'm not like worried about it or anything, but like she doesn't have her full uniform and such. Armor. Listen, I don't like that air, but this isn't a podcast to deal with it. Where is it? I just had it up. Let me go and find it on mine. Because I had it up on mine. I was checking something else though. Where are you? Where are you, movie news? In the last one. There we go. Okay. Is this it? That's not it. God damn it. Where's the other one? I know it's around here somewhere. I had the full story of this. And now I'm pissed off. Okay, here we go. This is what the story was when it was Kang Dynasty. Okay? It's worth it. I'm telling you. Just make Wesley Blade. I've said that as well. I would, but Mahershala Ali would be awesome. But I don't think it's his fault that it keeps getting screwed up. Maybe. I don't know. Don't put anything past anybody. But all right, what would the King Dynasty, Avengers, King Dynasty supposed to be about? In this film, the TVA began gathering anchor beings from across the multiverse, believing they are the only ones powerful enough to defeat the Council of Kangs. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were the anchor beings for their respective realities, while Tom Holland's Spider-Man served as the anchor for Earth 616. That's a big deal. That would have been a big deal. Tom Holland, I mean, it makes sense that Spider-Man's going to be an anchor being, especially for 616. Like, I get it. You could say Fantastic Four, but it's an anchor being. And if I'm being honest, I think it's Spider-Man. It should be. I liked that in Deadpool's world, which is more mutant-centric, it was Wolverine. He was the X-Men, So it should be Spider-Man. I like that. The movie it should have been Spider-Man. I don't know what they're doing now. The movie was intended to be a smaller in scope compared to Secret Wars, focusing more on Holland's Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and other anchors like Nick Cage's Ghost Rider, who has signed on to be back. So the plan was for all of them to ultimately fail, leading to the collapse of the multiverse and Kang's creation of Battleworld. This would then set the stage for Secret Wars, where MCU characters and additional multiverse figures would converge on Battleworld. Dr. Doom's plan in Doomsday. Doom isn't truly evil. He believes he is saving the multiverse from incursions. According to his twisted logic, the only way for the multiverse to survive is to unify all the universes into one place, Battleworld, under his rule. He sees them as the sole path to ensuring the survival of everyone. And that makes sense to Doom. Doom does not see himself as bad guy. He knows he's a villain. He knows he does bad things. But ultimately, like Thanos, like all those bad things are adding up to him saving the world. And it's true. He's going, not saving the world, but he knows that under his rule, that's the only thing that can truly save the world. Like that's what he knows. Like, think about that for a second. Think about what I'm saying. If somebody knows something, not believes, not has an idea of it, but knows something, then they're acting on it. And that is Thanos. And it's so like we're gonna get that type of villain. And of course, we know it's Robert Downey Jr. So we'll see how it goes. He's at least going to be that in the movies. I doubt he's going to be in anything else. And that's what bothers me too. Is like we talked about it in our breakdown of that, but so you go see it there. But another thing that bothers me is Doom should be around for a while, not just 2 movies. And I'm not saying that he won't be, but we should know that he's going to be. That's something that's like, that's not fan service. That's understanding, like, fans love this. So it just bothers me that like we're not planning for the future. Well, we are. They are. They're just not planning for the future we want, or I want. No, I just don't think they're handling Doom with the same type of care that they handled all their other villains. Well, all their other villains pre Phase 4 and 5. Just adding a lot of heart to them, and I hope they will. And I also think that there should be some. There should be more thought about this. I think it just moved too fast trying to correct things. I think that's where my biggest apprehension about this all comes from, is like it's all moving so fast. Like we heard some bad things and all of a sudden things are changing. The dynamics changing. It feels like scared almost. It's just not fun. It's not fun time when it's like that. I like this story. I would have liked to have seen the story. Even if you change it to Secret Wars where you can do Battle World under Doom, maybe Doom is the anchor being of his world. It's not the Fantastic Four. Maybe he's the anchor being, so that's why he has to grab all these other anchor beings to stop him. Let him lead the charge. With Tony Stark's face, that would make way more sense. This dude goes out and he gets Tony Stark's face to make sure that he can get all of these anchor beings, that they will trust him, that it's in. And then he goes and he does that. And they fight the Council of Kangs and they lose. But not Doom. He knew he'd win. He actually wins. He takes over and he creates the battle world the way he wants it. God Emperor Doom taking over. Kang is dead. And moving on. Take it down the line. Let's see where this goes. But with that, also on top of it, like I would like to see a Midnight Suns movie, which I do believe we're going to get, especially if they keep hinting at it. But it's so far off from even getting a Blade movie. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want a Midnight Suns movie with the Black Knight in it. I don't care. Because I already didn't care about Eternals. I already didn't care about the Black Knight in the comic books. He was fine when he popped up, but I didn't care about him. It's not like I collected his comic. I don't like... You've set up, like, get Man-Thing first of all if you're going to do a Midnight Suns. I know you don't have to, but you should. It'd be awesome. Just because he was so cool and that special. So the Werewolf by Night special, I should say. So, or you can get Werewolf by Night to get in there, but make a Midnight Suns movie, but do it where maybe Strange or somebody or whoever. I would basically make it Strange. If anything, I would make the Midnight Suns the Avengers for the Dark Realm. Like, of course, we have Dark Justice League, things like that. Like, and that's what it is essentially. So why not get Strange, who is your guy? And there's your powerhouse right there. Now he has to go by and he has to go and get other beings that could fit the Midnight Suns, that fit within. So now you have Wesley Snipes' Blade. Now you have Nick Cage's Ghost Rider. Now you have all of these, and then you can make a really kick-ass movie. They are making a Strange Academy, by the way, a TV show. So it'd be interesting if they gave Strange Midnight Suns and then ran with it. He goes, grabs Deadpool and Wolverine. Actually, for that one, I might just grab Wolverine. A little too much comedy in that. Could be bad. And it'd be funny, because it'd be funny if he shows up and like Snipes is just like, where's Deadpool? Or whatever he says about him. It's just like, I left him home for this one, or whatever. He's, something like that. Not great dialogue, but it's Sunday morning at 9:39. Give me a break. I hope you're all doing well. But I do agree with you. Bring him back as Blade. You have all this multiversal, and they are in Secret Wars, but like keep it going. Tell different tales. Tell multiversal tales. That's where we missed on the multiverse. I like the What If TV show, but it's a little all over. Right? They brought it back really well. It's a good show. A lot of characters. You're trying to like do a lot of things all at once. And I like the what if aspect. I always have. I always thought the what if aspect would be amazing. So it'd be cool if you could do sort of, maybe not what ifs movies, but like one-off movies, one shots, and call them one shots, be like Marvel one shot, and then just have Blade, and then it's do a Blade tale, like a Logan-esque type Blade tale, where it's like Wesley Snipes' final ride as Blade, and he's off. But it's a one shot, and like comic book fans, movie fans may not understand this, But you can put up a little title scroll in the beginning that just says a one shot is, tell people what a one shot in comics is. That's what we're doing here. We're telling these stories from different multiverses. That's where people, I think, would have adopted the multiverse more, because now you get to Deadpool, Wolverine, you see all these characters that people loved, and we do. Now we're like, well, what else can we get? This is how we felt after No Way Home. And now we're feeling it again with Deadpool, Wolverine. We wanted to feel it in everything else that we've seen so far, but now we feel it here. Now we feel it there. You know what I mean? So it's pain in the ass. I wish they would have done something. I wish I would have thought about it. I know it's a lot of money to put out, but stop making such expensive movies. I don't need a $300 million Blade movie. I didn't need it in 1998, and that movie was awesome. Why do I need any of it? Like The Creator, again, last year was one of the best movies of last year, sci-fi especially. And the visual effects are stunning. And they were made for $80 million. Godzilla Minus One wishes it had $15 million that is reported it had. And it's still better than most of what's coming out. So come on, Marvel. Give us something. Give us what we want. I wish Marvel would set back, because if you remember back in the beginning when Iron Man was announced, and do you remember how it was announced? Because I remember how it was announced. I remember it was announced with Jon Favreau joining Twitter, that he was directing and such, and he posted a picture of R2-D2 in Iron Man's colors, and that was his first tweet ever, and that was his. Oh, Jon Favreau stepping in as the director of this movie, and then so I followed him to hear all the details of what's going to be coming out and stuff. And I was not an Iron Man fan at all. I was really not an Iron Man fan. I like the cartoon. I did read the comics. I read his character more in the Avengers comics, which, by the way, also more of an X-Men fan growing up. I wasn't a huge Avengers fan. Not a lot of people were. I was more of an X-Men fan growing up. I was more of a Justice League if we're talking teams. So most of my focus wasn't in the Avengers, but I did read them because I like Captain America. I like Thor, because they were still known characters, and I love that aspect of it. I do love the characters and the stories. So, and I love their team ups. I read every Spider-Man, all that stuff. So Iron Man wasn't one of my main focuses. So when this movie got announced, I was just I'm just really excited. We're kind of rebooting. Marvel's its own company doing its own thing, and I just want to see where this is going. I want to see what they're going to do with it, because it feels like it could be really connected. Because on top of that, you start hearing things about the Incredible Hulk, Edward Norton, stuff like that. So you're getting super excited for everything and what's to come. And they did it right, but they did it for Marvel fans. They did not, you know what? Actually, I'm going to take that back. They didn't do it for Marvel fans. They did it for comic book fans. Let's be real. I'm getting a little tired of the egotistical side of Marvel a bit. My son has a pair of pajamas that just say Marvel on them. And that's some bullshit. I wish I knew that he got those pajamas, because I would have put those back. We're getting something else. I'm not a Marvel fan. I'm a comic book fan. Here's the difference. I like Marvel. I like many of Marvel's characters, and I grew up and they helped shape me. But Marvel is not what I'm a fan of. If anything, the closest thing you're ever going to get to me as a fan of Marvel are fans of writers and artists who are so dedicated to Marvel, and its achievements and its characters and who they built. That's who I'm more dedicated to, not the company. So it kind of pissed me off when I saw that, and then it's kind of you buy a car and then you start seeing it everywhere. It was the same way. Now I start seeing Marvel everywhere, and it's just branded Marvel, and it's are you kidding me? Where are the character shirts? That's the Geek. That's what we want. So I don't know. That's my little rant. I got pissed off about it, but it is what it is. But do these things. Go back to doing these things, or hiring directors who are comic book fans. That's why I like Doctor Strange. You can, as a multiversal movie, it wasn't great, but as an adversarial movie where you have two of the biggest magicians and most powerful magicians in the multiverse, and they're fighting each other through the multiverse. I thought that was so interesting. That was such a really well done thing. And I wasn't a huge Doctor Strange fan either. I read his comics more than I read Iron Man, but I wasn't a huge Doctor Strange fan either. But that felt fun. That felt like Sam Raimi stepped in and was just like, I'm gonna have a great time. I liked directing. That's why, like, when you watch the first and second Spider-Man movie, it's so different from the third. I don't feel like he was having fun on the third. Too much, people interjecting themselves. But those first two movies just feel like such fun, and he murdered it. I loved it. So, those types of movies I really like, but it doesn't blow me away. I understand what we're getting when we get these big movies, right? It's going to be short on story, and I'm okay with that. But then at least give me the fun, give me the excitement, give me the characters that I love, give me, stuff like that, and put them in predicaments that I can really enjoy, and stop screwing with the sacredness of characters. That's soap opera shit. The fact that when you announce like Robert Downey Jr. as, who was so iconic, and it was a huge deal when he was brought in to play Tony Stark. It was very controversial for a lot of reasons. And so when you see this now, but you've fallen in love with him, and he did it epically and like for so many years, then when you see him as Dr. Doom, it's like, this feels like a fucking soap opera. It's like, you're pulling a switcheroo on us, man. Like, come on. I thought this was over. I thought this was done. I thought we were better than this. We're not. And that's where it's at. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to head out. I got my talking in. It's Sunday. I got to start packing up all my stuff and get ready to leave, because I'm leaving tonight. Podcast movement, baby. That's what it's all about. For some of you who may not know, we are doing a giveaway of one of these two things: the Deadpool popcorn bucket or the Wolverine cup. Actually has a topper too. It's a little Wolverine figure. It's kind of cool. So we're doing a giveaway for it. All you got to do is join our Patreon. You can either follow us for free, or you can join the paid tier. We're doing the giveaway. We're going to spin the wheel on the 20th, and I will announce on our social media and such. I'll do a little video where I spin the wheel, and then we're going to go from there. All right. So, and 2 lucky winners will be picked. Each of you will win one of these. We'll either win the Deadpool popcorn bucket or the Wolverine cup, but you have to be on the Patreon. You got to sign up. That also gets you into our Discord. Message us as soon as you sign up, and we will send you a link to the Discord. We'd love to have you. Talk to us about more about the stuff there. But that's what we're doing here, people. That's the crux of it. We are talking about this stuff. Blake Lively mostly, not Marvel. So I have problems Sunday. Also, I'm like very scatterbrained today because I've been getting ready. I don't go on many trips, but when I do, I'm like always in packing mode, always making sure. But I will tell you, we are covered. I probably, for the most part, I'm not planning on being live again until the 27th, which is our next live episode of the Scene Snobs podcast. We do have one coming out Tuesday. It's gonna be fun. We talk about aliens. We get into top 5 alien movies. Talk about Alien Romulus. We talk about the movie Jackpot. We also talk about our own encounters and our own personal feelings on like UFOs and aliens and stuff like that, which is kind of cool conversation with Paul. So check that out. That will be available on Tuesday. It'll go. You can watch it live, or not watch it live, but it goes live on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Or you can listen to it on any podcast platform at the exact same time. So please feel free to go check those out and hang out with us and stuff like that. We have tons of shows. We have something that will be coming out every day up until I'm back on lives, and still even past then. But we're covered. You're going to see stuff that's, you're going to see new videos, you're going to see new stuff, new reviews, things like that. So we hope you go check them out, give them all a like, give us a subscribe on the channel. We truly appreciate it. Helps us out with a lot of things. And we're just building up. So thank you again. We love movies, and we know you do too. So join up on the Snob Nation. Talk to us, hang out. Like I said, you got to do that on the Patreon. You got to subscribe on the YouTube channel, and just come hang out. All right, everybody. Until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Thank you for joining in, and make sure to be kind, be kind, stay classy, and take care of yourselves. I'm a little tired in the morning. Bye.